Episode 1, The Hedge Night. The story begins under a gray, rainy sky. A young, tall hedge knight, Sir Duncan the Tall Dunk, buries his master, Sir Arlen of Pennytree. Dunk, still an unproven squire in his own heart, now faces the world alone. He briefly considers selling his master's horses, but quickly dismisses the idea as shameful. Instead, he vows to honor Sir Arlen's memory and continue the path of knighthood. His plan is to travel to the great tourney at Ashford Meadow, hoping to win fame, fortune, and the recognition he so desperately craves. On the road, Dunk stops at a roadside tavern. There he meets a strange, bald boy who insists on calling him Sir and offers to tend to his horse. The tavern is nosy and filled with eccentric characters. After a hearty meal, Dunk leaves for Ashford. Upon arrival, he registers at the tourney master's tent, but his inexperience shows he cannot produce a single noble to vouch for his knighthood. Desperate, he wanders into the tent of the flamboyant Lord Lionel Baratheon, who is more interested in drinking and brawling than in helping a hedge knight. As night falls, Dunk returns to his simple camp, feeling defeated. It is there that the bald boy from the tavern reappears, asking to become his squire. Out of pity and loneliness, Dunk agrees. The boy introduces himself as Egg, and together, the two unlikely partners settle in for the night, ready to face the challenges of the tourney. Episode 2, Hard Salt Beef. Dunk and Egg continue their preparations for the tournament. Dunk's main challenge, still finding a noble patron to vouch for him. He spends his days in the tourney camps, retelling stories of his late master's service to various houses, but he is repeatedly turned away. Meanwhile, Egg pushes himself to the limit, performing difficult chores to prove his worth. Much to Dunk's concern, Dunk forms a drinking friendship with Sir Lionel Baratheon, but even that does not give him the courage to ask for his help. The situation grows more tense when the royal family, the Targaryens, arrive at Ashford. King Darren does not attend, but his two sons, Prince Baelor Breakspear and Prince Macker, are present. During a confrontation, the arrogant Prince Aerion Targaryen, son of Macker, insults Dunk publicly, but Baelor forces his brother to apologize. Information comes to light that two of Prince Macker's sons, Darren and Aegon Egg's real name, have run away from home. Later that night, Egg returns to Dunk's camp and finally reveals his true identity. He is Prince Aegon Targaryen, the runaway son of Prince Macker and the grandson of King Darren. After a moment of shock, Dunk decides to keep the secret, realizing that exposing Egg's identity would cause more problems than it would solve. With the stakes now even higher, Dunk resolves to find a patron. Episode 3, The Squire. The tournament officially begins. Dunk is at a severe disadvantage as he cannot afford proper armor or a fully trained war horse. However, the chivalric ideals of knighthood are tested in a brutal way. Prince Aerion, known as Brightflame, participates in a joust against an unknown knight. Aerion cheats by impaling his opponent's horse with his lance, an act that horrifies the crowd and leads to the mercy killing of the wounded animal. Later, while walking through the marketplace with Egg, Dunk witnesses a puppet show performed by a captivating young woman named Tansel. He develops a crush on her. A fortune teller stops Egg and tells him that he will become king, but will die in a fire. The event organizers, greedy to make coin, approach Dunk and offer him money to purposely lose his first joust. Dunk, appalled by the idea of dishonoring himself, refuses. In the final act of the episode, the cruel Aerion, angry about the earlier crowd's reaction, takes his rage out on Tansel. He corners her and begins breaking her fingers. Egg desperately pleads with Dunk to intervene. When Aerion's guards try to stop him, Dunk finally reveals Egg's true heritage to them. The season ends with the shocking reveal of Egg as a Targaryen prince. Episode 4, 7. In the immediate aftermath of Dunk's attack on Aerion, he is arrested and thrown into the dungeons of Ashford Castle. The charges are severe. attacking a prince of the blood and kidnapping the prince's son Egg. A regular trial would certainly end in a death sentence. After a desperate plea from Dunk, Arryn is given the choice of how to proceed, and he chooses an ancient and brutal tradition, the trial by 7. This is a team fight of 7 knights on each side, fighting to the death. With the help of a loyal Egg, Dunk must now somehow find 6 men willing to risk their lives for him. One by one, an unusual team forms around the Hedge Knight, the one-eyed Mad Knight, a drunkard, and a mighty blacksmith. However, despair sets in when one of his would-be allies betrays him for a title and lands. Just when all seems lost, Prince Baelor Breakspear, hand of the king and heir to the Iron Throne, having witnessed Dunk's honor, decides to join his team. This shocking move turns the upcoming battle into a deeply personal, brutal civil war within the Targaryen house itself. Episode 5. In the name of the Mother, the trial by 7 begins. Both sides of 7 knights each charge at each other in a chaotic and bloody melee. Despite being rapidly overwhelmed and taking a brutal beating, Dunk's fighting spirit ignites. He turns the tide of the battle so fiercely that Arryn, terrified for his own life, formally drops all charges against him on the field. The victory is desperately hard-won and comes at a shattering cost. In the heat of the final struggle, Prince Baelor, Arryn's father, swings his mace in a powerful arc and accidentally crushes the skull of his own brother, Prince Baelor, killing him instantly. Dunk has won his freedom, but the realm has lost one of its most honorable princes. The victory feels like ashes. Episode 6. Tomorrow, the morning after the trial, the full weight of what has happened crashes down on Dunk. He is racked with guilt over Baelor's death, believing he never should have asked the prince to fight for him. At Baelor's funeral, his young son bitterly asks why the gods took his father and not Dunk, a question Dunk cannot answer. Prince Baelor, now the heir to the Iron Throne, summons Dunk. He makes him a surprising offer. His son Aegon wishes to be Dunk's squire officially, but only if Dunk swears fealty to Baelor himself. Having served as a Hedge Knight all his life, Dunk instinctively refuses the political cage of servitude to a High Lord, even a prince. The refusal causes a rift between him and Egg. However, just as Dunk prepares to leave Ashford alone, Egg appears in simple traveling clothes. He has run away from his father again, choosing Dunk and a life on the road over a life at court. With a small, almost imperceptible smile, Dunk accepts, and the two ride off together, their story and their legendary partnership only just beginning. My opinion, A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms is a breath of fresh air for anyone who loves the world of Westeros, but grew tired of the crushing cynicism of Game of Thrones. This series trades political scheming and dragon fire for something far more valuable: genuine human connection. What I loved most is the relationship between Dunk and Egg. It's not built on betrayal or power struggles, it's built on loyalty, patience, and quiet kindness. Dunk is not a flawless hero. He's awkward, insecure, and often in over his head, but he tries. Every single time, he tries to do the honorable thing. And Egg, despite being a prince, is humble, clever, and fiercely devoted to his friend. The action is sparse but meaningful. The trial by 7 in episodes 5 and 6 is brutal, chaotic, and deeply emotional, not because of spectacle, but because of the cost. Prince Baelor's death hit me harder than I expected. It reminded me that in this world, even the good guys don't always get a happy ending. That said, the pacing is slow. Some episodes feel like they're treading water, especially episodes 2 and 3. And the supporting characters, while colorful, don't get enough depth. I wanted more time with Tansel or Lionel Baratheon. Overall, this is a warm, melancholy, and ultimately hopeful story. It's not about thrones or wars. It's about a tall, clumsy knight and a bald little boy who choose each other against all odds. And sometimes, that's more than enough.